Hello and welcome to the Shift Your Flight Plan presentation, Empowering General Aviation. Before we get started, I just want to say that I'm just like you. Last year, I spent over 100 hours in the air. 75% of that was with general aviation. And I am fully aware that the $100 hamburger is now the $250 hamburger. And I understand the importance of general aviation, not only for business, but for personal use as well. And I truly want to help. As a matter of fact, that is my son flying right seat. General aviation is a very important part of not only my business, but my family life as well. So who am I? Well, I am Josh Tully. I'm a nationally syndicated talk show host. I'm a top 25 business advisor, top 100 business trainer, 3-time #1 Amazon bestselling author. I own 12 companies. You might have seen me on Fox, CBS, CRTV, Blaze, OAN, or a number of other national and international programs. So the reason why flying is so expensive currently is because really you have two sets of costs. You have the expenses of aviation, and of course those are getting higher and higher. But you also have the opportunity costs and the cost to the overall family wealth. And those two costs are both things that can be fixed and relatively simply, to be honest with you. And that leads us to Shyft-Capital. Now, Shyft-Capital happens to be a company that I own, and we've been using Shyft-Capital for our general aviation purposes for years. As a matter of fact, we run all of our GA expenses through Shyft-Capital. And it wasn't until December of 2020 when I started thinking, oh my gosh, why are we not telling other people that they can do this? So that's what we're going to be talking about. And Shyft-Capital uses a very special form of strategic use of insurance. And when I say insurance, please understand there's two sides to the insurance world. One is the retail world, the State Farms, Progressives, Allstates, American Family, all that stuff. Nothing wrong with that. That's wonderful. But the insurance industry itself is much, much larger. For example, when the Mona Lisa gets insured, I guarantee you they are not calling 1-800-GENERAL now. So just understand that there's a huge insurance industry out there that's not the quote-unquote retail insurance market. That's what we're talking about. And why? What does it allow us to do? Well, it allows us to take those GA funds, park them someplace with an insurance company, and while it's there, we can also use it. And yes, I'm not kidding. And it allows us to have tax-free growth. Yes, insurance is tax-free. Protected against creditors. This is a 100-year-old aviation tool that for some reason we're no longer teaching people about. It increases family wealth upon death, or business wealth, bottom line assets. You can use the capital while alive. It protects your other investments, and it's a great funnel for fuel and maintenance, tie-down fees, landing fees, that sort of thing. So this is actually something that you've been aware of, and it's been all around you forever. I know it seems like a weird or new concept, but it's really not, and we're going to talk about that for a second. For example, banks. Every single national and regional bank keeps important money with insurance companies. Yes, really. And you can go right on FDIC and see it for yourself. You don't have to believe me. As of 2020, banks are keeping $190 billion with bank-owned insurance. It allows them to do two things, save money and use it. Now, I know that might sound impossible, right? Like that's just... Come on, really? But you know it's true. Think about it. When you put $100 in a bank, what does the bank do with the money? They loan it out to other people. That's how banks make money, through loans. Well, does your balance go down just because they took your $100 and gave it to somebody else? No, your balance is still the same. Well, that's what insurance allows you to do as well. And this is a really important aspect of how this can impact your aviation expenses. It also makes sure that wealth increases no matter what. Warren Buffett, Wall Street moguls, they're using this. Matter of fact, Motley Fool had an article, Warren's 52-year love affair with insurance. Millionaires, contrary to popular belief, do not make their money or keep their money on Wall Street. There's this age-old expression that poor people insure their life, rich people insure their money. Huge clue there. As a matter of fact, if you have $1 million net worth or more, you keep typically less than 5% of that net worth in a Wall Street-based product. Case in point, Berkshire Hathaway actually has $170 billion placed in insurance. Your parents knew about this. So did your grandparents. I'm not kidding. Insurance is ancient, 6,000 years old. The reason why it's been around forever is because insurance, unlike other sort of financial tools, is not based solely on market. It's based on math. Because of that, you've never heard of the great insurance crash. You've heard of 47 times stock markets have crashed, 41 times banks, credit unions, and savings and loans have crashed, but you've never heard of the great insurance crash of 19 never. Why? Because it's based on math, not markets. And it's even seen in It's a Wonderful Life. Contrary to popular belief, that movie is not about Zuzu's petals, angels' wings, or bells ringing. It's really about George Bailey and the bank that he owns. His bank crashes. I know, people never thought about this. It's about a bank crash. His bank crashes. He runs into Mr. Potter's office. Mr. Potter, Mr. Potter. He reaches into his jacket pocket and pulls out an insurance policy as collateral to save his bank. The Rockefellers know about this. As a matter of fact, the Rockefeller family uses this, not something like this. It allows for over 150 people with the last name Rockefeller to now make $1 million a year, even 100 years later, because, like I said, it allows you to spend and protect wealth at the same time. The family wealth and real estate empire then gets bigger, and it provides liquid cash, and it protects against downturns in the markets. So anyway, now that we've established it's real, it's not some sort of weird thing out there, how does this affect flight and general aviation? Well, what's currently happening is you have revenue, money, income. You're spending money on aviation. You place that money in the bank. You spend money on maintenance and landing fees and gas. And then it does what? It depletes your funds. So now if you put $10,000 in and your expenses are $10,000, your balance is zero. And of course, the family legacy, or in our case, our business legacy, gets nothing. It's just gone. See, now this is why there's two aspects to this. There's the opportunity cost in the balance in the family or business legacy, and then there's also the expenses for general aviation. So what are we talking about? We're talking about taking that general aviation money and protecting it. States allow up to 20%, typically, sometimes a little bit higher, but typically about 20% of a business's revenue or a family's income to be protected in such a way that you can protect it and spend it. Not kidding. So let's take that same $10,000, you place it with Shyft-Capital, just like we do. Your expenses are $10,000, but now your balance still says what? $10,000. Just like when you put $100 in the bank, they lend it out to somebody to buy a new airplane, your balance still says $100. It also is growing this year at a 5.2% tax-free compounding dividend rate, and it leaves an $800,000 tax-free family legacy. So now you're enjoying your passion, your hobby, or the tool that allows you to travel for business, and you're growing wealth, you're taking advantage of other opportunities to produce more wealth, and you're leaving behind something greater than the expense. That's what we're talking about. We've been doing it for years, and like I said, it wasn't until December of 2020 when I started thinking, why are we not telling more people about this? So what's the next step? Get in touch with us. One of our agents can make a custom illustration, answer questions, design a program just for you. There's no obligation to that at all. You can watch our longer webinars. In the era of YouTube, people like 10 minutes or less, so you can watch our longer webinar if you wish. You can find a YouTube link at the bottom of our website. You can also contact us. You can call us at the number at the bottom of the screen. You can email us, or you can just go directly to the website. We've protected over $40 million for families in 2020 alone, and we can help you too. It's time we take finance out of flying and put the fun back in.